Hello, it's Nikki. Today I want to talk about how you're helping people and to give you some ideas, some questions of where you go next. So I have been working as a coach for over 10 years, 11, 12 years. And in 2014, I launched my first digital product. And over the last 10 years, the passive digital side of my business has looked and felt very different depending on my capacity. So there have been times where I've created resources, but they've really gone alongside the one-to-one work that I've been doing. I've done one-off workshops. I've had courses behind in my kind of private hub on my website. And I love that. I love that I can create things, explain things, and really break down concepts. And even though there will always be a bro on the internet saying digital courses are dead, nobody's buying them, I beg to differ. I buy digital courses all the time and they really suit my lifestyle. Actually, as much as I would love to say, great, I'm going to go to Morocco for a week-long retreat, that doesn't really suit my lifestyle at the moment. My partner works a lot and also my kids are at school and yeah. Anyway, you might think that that's a limiting belief, but this is my choice at this time. But maybe in 10 years' time, I'll be all over Morocco. Anyway, I had a discovery the other day of really thinking about where I go next in my business. And here are some of the prompts that I had. Is what I'm offering the best that it could be? And this is difficult, especially because there's so much chat on the internet about imposter syndrome, or I've got to do this, or will people really pay for this? Absolutely they will, because over the years I have invested a lot and then little and then a lot again. And sometimes there's been very little difference between a 20 quid product or a book and a £5,000 course. Seriously, you wouldn't think it, but it's true. And I often think it's down to the host, the person who wants to charge that or feels that they can. And it's such an interesting move for me every time where I'm like, oh, wow, they know how to sell it, because it's okay. But in my opinion, this is maybe not a £5,000 experience. Anyway, I'm not here to do that. One thing I realized was I had changed, I had learned, I had developed. And over the last couple of years, I have invested in myself so much. I've read so much. I've done so many courses and programs and really worked on my own self-development. I've cleared a lot of things. And when I looked at my online content that I was selling, I just sensed that it was an older version of me. And I've really been enjoying re-recording some of it because I know I have a new freshness for it. And when you have a freshness for what it is that you do, you're going to want to sell it even more. The next thing I've really done is to step into my expert status. Now, this is still a little bit uncomfortable for me because, again, imposter syndrome, or the way I grew up was very much like toe the line, do the right thing, don't be too controversial, like whatever it might be. And I realized that now is not that time, because if I don't believe in myself and if I don't stand strong, then nobody's going to be on board anyway. Almost like what I would with being a parent. If I'm like, oh, don't do that unless you want to, my kids have been like, am I allowed to do that or what? That's who they are. They love a boundary. They're like, can you tell me exactly what it is that you want me to do? And then I'll decide if I do it. No, then they know. If I was wishy-washy, I'm like, oh my goodness, I just couldn't do that. And I realized that in the way that I'm approaching my work, I was layering it with all sorts of stuff that was completely unnecessary. And stepping into that expert status of owning what it is that you do, I think is a trick that lots of people miss. And the third thing that I am committed to doing in going forward is to create within my website. So I am redoing Speak Up, I've got a money course, I've got digital disco, I've got the 100 Club, and I've got goal setting. I actually don't want to think of these offerings as courses anymore. I want to think of them as lovely libraries that my clients, my customers can hop into whenever they need to. And the brilliant thing about the internet is that it's vast and it's ever delivering. There's always something going on or something happening. It never sleeps. But with that means that it's very overwhelming. And sometimes people don't know what they need. They don't know what to Google. They just know that they need something. And so this opportunity is for you to come into one of my courses, one of my rooms of my online home, and be able to get what you need and get fresh content. And me as the creator, I'm going to feel great about that because I can add things in. If I've read a book about a certain area or topic, like I want to be able to share it. I want to be able to tell you first. So finally, I guess what I want to do is I always want to reward the people who are going for it, who are doing it. Not the people who are like, yeah, I don't know, like, does this like self-development thing really work? Then they're not the people I want to hang out with. I want to hang out with people who are like, oh my goodness, I'm going to do this and this is exciting. And yeah, that's a real sweet spot for me. So ultimately, my biggest takeaway from this video is create the business that suits you, your life, your circumstances, your personality, and your goals. When it does, it feels so good and it will grow. You're putting it in an environment in which it can thrive. And when your business thrives, you thrive. When you thrive, your business thrives. It's all a beautiful full circle moment. Lots of love. See you later. Bye.